European eel numbers have diminished by over 90% in the last 30 years due to overfishing, habitat loss and man-made obstructions to their migratory pathways. I'm Russell Beard by the River Severn in Gloucestershire, England, where conservationists and fishermen are working together to secure the future of one of Europe's most enigmatic inhabitants. The European eel begins its life as a tiny leaf-like larvae in the North American Sargasso Sea. They're swept by the Gulf Stream towards European estuaries and river systems. Here they mature for up to 20 years before making the 4,000-mile return journey as a silver eel to reproduce. This process has never been witnessed by human eyes, giving the eel its reputation as one of our planet's most mysterious creatures. What are we waiting for here?
The tide racing in, causing an enormous wave. This is what makes this river the only part of Britain where eels arrive in sufficient numbers.
And that's bringing in these juvenile eels?
Yeah, well, they're locally called Elvers.
Elvers.
The technical term at this stage is glass eels.
Located in the southwest of England, the Bristol Channel is shaped like a giant funnel. During the highest tides, rising water is forced upstream into the Severn estuary, forming a large surge wave or tidal bore. No way, that's a proper wave.
The bore we saw arriving came up the river, and you saw all that debris that it was carrying. Yeah. Well, it deposits it here. And this is exactly where the glass eels have been deposited.
Within 15 feet of the ideal environment. There's no going back from this at the moment. So what's going forward?
The Environment Agency here in the UK has pioneered some new work, creating eel passes when they climb through a tray of bristles and they can go up and around.
These eel passes are being installed, but with over 300 barriers on the River Severn alone, it's going to take a lot of time and money.
Something that we're already doing, which is very significant, is we're catching these glass eels from here, where they are abundant, to wetlands where they're not reaching, is part of the survival strategy of the European eel regulation.
I mean, it's not what you think of generally, a fisherman catching fish in order to release them again.
If you want to take fish and you want to enjoy it, you've got to do it in a sustainable way. We can't steal from the future anymore.
So we come to meet Richard Cook. He runs the Severn and Wye Smokery. He's a lifelong fisherman, and he's going to talk to us about how fishing and conservation can go hand in hand.
Conservation in glass eels is like nothing else. Conserving cod stocks, conserving haddock stocks, you know, the solution there is to stop fishing. Conserving glass eels is actually promote the British hand net fishery, because that is the only vehicle that these fish have to get out of the river. Now, the fishermen and the collecting stations, they have signed up to a recovery plan which releases 45% of the glass eels back to restocking projects throughout Europe.
Why are we fishing at night?
I'm not doing this to torture you, yeah? The fish only move on nights. Here's a fishing vehicle, look.
Oh, yeah. Is there much in the way of competition with the other fishing?
Yeah. The biggest man gets the best spot, you know?
Right,
so
right.
That's kind of how it works still. Yeah.
So what's my chances of getting a decent spot then?
You're in trouble, mate, yeah. We're fortunate tonight, yeah, we've got a couple of guys that'll look after us tonight.
Over the past sort of 8-10 years, it's dropped, but this year is showing really good signs.
Oh, that's an unusual... That is quite a crazy sensation, look at them.
You've got to say, you've got to teach them respect. They swam a long way to get here, so if I can not lose one hour, I'll be happy.
All right, so what?
Unlucky.
Yeah. No, that's good. Go for it. Go for it.
It's coming down, is it? Andy, the tide's on its way. It's got a bit of a head on it. Yeah, so get ready.
The evening bore brings the glass eels, and as the tide recedes, they swim into the banks. Licensed fishermen stay out all night to catch as many as possible, which they can sell for £200 a kilo.
Yeah, we've got a few in here.
Wow, that's a good haul. Wow. Just straight into this bucket.
Straight into that bucket, yeah.
The recognised statistic is that 95% of the glass eels that stay in this river will die in the first 3 months.
Fish food.
Absolutely. Fish food, they get eaten with birds, other fish, mink. We're not conserving something beautiful to look at. It's not like a Buick swan or a flamingo, yeah?
Yeah.
You never see these things. This conservation is about conservation of a food. I know it sounds crazy to eat the thing that we're worried about being extinct, yeah? However, if we eat eel that's certified as sustainable, everybody all the way through the chain is restocking fish back to the wild, yeah? And it's not then dependent on a handout.
Yeah.
It's self-funded.
Yeah, you got some?
Come on, little ones. How many is there? Three. Three. Oh, no, wait, there's one more. There's four. Get in there. I think that's the one, by the way. He's making it back to Sargasso.
We know bits, yeah? So we know that the glass eels come in the spring. We know that the adult eels will leave in the autumn. We know that the fish will reside in the UK for 15 years. But we don't actually know whether they get back, yeah? We've never found the brood stock. But the knowledge that we do have, we ought to act on, you know? We know the fish get stuck in here, yeah? So let's get them out of here and get them into the wetlands and get them onto the small ditches and dikes. That's something that we can do easily.
So we've got a catch here, and we've come to weigh him in. What have we got?
Scales, boys.
All right,
Fruits of our labour. Yeah. 0.34.
they're off onto the next stage of their journey.
68 quid.
68 quid.
Split 3 ways.
It's not bad.
That's not too bad.
After the fishermen get paid, their catch is transported to UK Glass Eels headquarters. And we've come to meet this guy, Peter Wood. He's the kind of kingpin for the Elvering industry. So I think we contributed about half a kilo here, but clearly you've got a lot more than that.
We're trying to get together 4 million pieces now to ship to Sweden.
Peter Wood sells all his glass eels to fisheries and restocking projects across Europe.
Every year we change something. We're always learning, controlling the pH and controlling the temperature. These glass eels will survive 36 hours in one of these boxes.
So are you positive about the future of the species?
I think, yeah, very, very positive.
Yeah.
Restocking is, at the moment, the quick fix, because it's going to take a long time to alter the flood defences and the pumping systems in Holland and this sort of thing. We're never going to go back to a situation where it was as common as it was 50 years, because I'm afraid things have been altered. You know, we're living in a modern technological society now, and there is a small penalty to pay.
After the short flight to Sweden, the glass eels are placed in strict quarantine to ensure they're safe for farming or redistribution. 12 weeks later, we catch up with Richard Fordham at Scandinavian Silver Eel in Helsingborg. They've been farming and restocking eel in the region since 1984. It's amazing that you can see them gathering underneath the feeder.
Call them dancing eels.
Yeah, they look like kind of Moroccan cobras.
I'll get the waders.
All right. I don't exactly know what we've got planned here.
But here we got some larger ones.
I don't like the idea of drowning in a vat of eels. 30% of the wild-caught Elvers that arrive here are farmed to full size, destined for the dinner plate. Whoa!
Around smoking.
If the WWF say that this is on the critically endangered list, why should we not be putting all of these back in the river?
Well, I think it's an important point that there's an economic pressure to do things. If no one's eating eels, no one's being involved in the sense commercially involved, then there's a big risk that no funding will come. I mean, if just conservationists are talking about eels, it's one thing, but if a whole spectrum of people have got an interest and want the eel to continue, then I think it has a much more secure future.
Wow, they're really strong. Whoa! 70% of the imported Elvers will be restocked in waterways and wetlands with access to the sea. these are the same ones that we saw loaded up onto the plane 12 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see they're very different. With money from the Swedish government and match funding from the EU, Scandinavian silver eel manages to restock over 2.5 million fish a year.
We're going in this bay here.
It's very picturesque here, but in terms of eel habitat, this is much better place for them than it would be, say, in the River Severn.
More or less every fish that we restock today, if you left them in the Severn, would have died.
Do you think they will make it back to the Sargasso?
Yes, I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
It's a long way.
Yeah.
Energy and water companies responsible for the barriers to eel migration are also playing their part.
When they obstruct water, there are some eels that are damaged. According to the rules and regulations, they must actually replace those fish.
Okay.
And then there's even more fish here than they will actually damage.
Here, it just looks like an eel summer camp, doesn't it? It's absolutely perfect. Wow, okay, so we're going with the net. Next stop, the Sargasso, is it?
Yeah.
Wow,
Within
good
30
luck,
years.
little chaps.
It would be a shame if such a common species would disappear.
Yeah.
But it has a complicated life cycle, and that's the problem. Whether you talk to a fisherman, a fish farmer, a biologist, a conservationist, people really want a future for the eel.
Why are you coming out all this way to help with these eels?
Det är ju för, vi tycker det är ett bra projekt. Det är ju bra för miljön överhuvudtaget, för fisket här uppe. Det är ju väldigt positivt.